Assalamu alaikum everyone. Just let me get connected and then we'll take it from there. Okay, she's here. So I've sent you the live request. You'll have to click on it. Let me see. Are you getting my request? Hi.
Hi.
We're all set.
Yeah, it seems like it was easy.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I'm not good at all.
Hmm.
I have this terrible cold and I'm not
Okay.
feeling so well today. Okay, let me just fix this. Give me a second. Okay, we're set. So, before we dive in our conversation, just a little quick introduction about who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Ah, my name is Juliana McLean. I am originally from Republika Moldova, somewhere a small country in the East Europe.
Okay.
I recently live in Denmark for quite over 10 years or so. And
Okay.
I'm working with emotions or assisting people also energetically to move through. So it's a process where I allow the energy
Mhm.
to flow through me, and I can be as assistance for other people to make space in the body, to be aware of the emotions, and to hold that space where people can acknowledge themselves. They can feel more deep that than we often hide, even for ourselves. So
Yeah.
that's yes, and I also assisting. I'm facilitating recreational hypnotherapy,
Okay.
where people go deep into the subconscious mind with higher self permission, with a higher guidance, where people go in the subconscious mind and we connect with those specific moments and time experiences. So it's not mindly, mentally, it's
Uh-huh.
more just asking the guidance to show what is
Mhm.
required for the person to see, to acknowledge, to feel. So it may come to the surface, those emotions that was so deeply hidden, and then it will help the person to more move forward because, we feel sometimes stuck.
Yeah.
So that's based on some patterns or loops that we play out and we are not aware, or some energies that are in the system and it's
Mhm.
stopping us. So it's those emotions that has not been acknowledged and they are still there. So we need to make space. So that's majority what I'm generally doing.
Okay.
Through my content to what I'm creating is also bring this remembrance of who we are.
Oh,
And yeah, so this is more like a bigger picture. Yeah.
I love that. I love that introduction. So what got you into this? Is there a reason? Is there a background? Is there a history? What got into you to following this path?
Um, life, life,
Life?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't plan. I was not interested.
Okay.
But you know, life pushed me, or how say, those experiences, those, I don't want to call it bad, but those, we call it traumas, whatever we go there and we need to feel, has wake me up to
Mm,
something that I was not knew exists. And then
yeah,
when I get in touch with that, I get so set in love. And when I get in love, like, everybody needs to hear this. Like,
yeah,
everybody needs to feel free. Everybody needs to remember,
yeah,
because the life here on earth has so harsh on us, and
yeah,
we just totally forget about our power, who we are, and that actually we have a voice, and actually we matter, and
yeah,
actually we can do it together.
yeah,
So it's really life, or my soul, let's put it there. My soul have pushed me where, to a point where I need to let go of the mind and just follow what feels nice, what I love to do, than just be, kind of rigid in one space.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. That's so beautiful. And you said something, some trauma and some things. Do you think that most people have to go through something devastating or through a trauma or through some negative emotions in life to have that kind of awakening to connect with themselves or understand their emotions?
Not necessary.
Really?
Not necessary, but I feel like when we go to this, we call it traumatic experience,
Yeah,
there is something that it's helping us. It's
yeah,
straighten us to overcome something, but also is like, the diamond only is creating under pressure.
yeah,
Eh,
yeah,
exactly. And we are those diamonds, that are being built under pressure, how pressure you can hold. And I don't say that we must experience huge trauma, go through chaos, but there, those who overcome those experiences, they are so knowledgeable, wisdom, they carry so much wisdom, and they are just operating for another level, but only and only they overcome and took the lesson.
yeah,
In today's world, how I'm perceiving or seeing is that, especially these children, this new generation, they are already open,
yeah,
but they
yeah,
my perspective is that they need to maintain their connection with themselves, because the life is pulling us left and right and get to engage in this problem, and then we slowly shut down because we are
yeah,
afraid to say, to speak. When we are children, we are so open, we don't have filter, and we
yeah,
just throw out the truth. So I feel like it's important to stay connected, and then
yeah,
actually you are open to this reality that is
yeah.
beyond the human eyes.
So beautiful. You said so beautifully. So, talk about emotions. What are emotions? Why are we so disconnected from emotions? And we just know the basic emotions. We've always been taught the basic emotions, right? Happy, sad, angry. So, these are, I think, the three emotions I remember learning while growing up. So why is that? Why was there not more flavor and more awareness around? There's so many emotions there, right?
I would talk from my on only from my own experience. I grew up in a family where we was not
Oh,
used,
sure.
we was not used to speak about emotions, to say how we feel. I grew up in an
Yeah,
environment where you have food, you have a roof, you go to school, the strictly necessary, and then the rest was not, kind of like, not important to speak. You have what you need. So from that aspect, I shut down myself. Whatever I was going through, okay, get up, forget it. And I was not processing those emotions.
yeah,
So there was many emotions, was anger, was rage, was grief, was loss, was, all this stuff, without giving this permission to feel. So when I grow up, and all this has been filled up. It's
Yeah.
like a it's like a bomb suddenly from nowhere, just boom, and
Mm.
then is the chaos. So what I want to say is that we are not used to feel emotion. Depends on which part of the this planet we are.
Yeah.
Some culture are more open, more allowed. Some are just physical matter, and the rest is just you can keep it for yourself.
Yeah.
So we are majority. We are not used to feel. We are not allowed to go on that, or we are not feel comfortable to talk about what we
Yeah.
feel, what
Yeah.
how what I'm thinking. It's like this is not comfortable.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, why it's important to feel emotions is because in that way we connect with ourselves.
Yeah.
When we move through life, we have different kind of experience with our parents and the school, with marriage. I have two marriage. I was divorced, so all that was teaching me something. But there are a lot was built in because I could not say what I think, I could not say what I feel. I need to shut the fuck up. Sorry
Yeah.
my language, but I
Yeah.
need just to follow and be there in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that create a lot of, I was closing, like deeming, like I could not be myself. So all those emotions was built up in ourselves. And then these heavy emotions like pain, not able to speak, hopelessness, suppression, and all this stuff is like building in our body. And
Mm.
then speaking energetically from it is some heavy energy in the physical body. And then those emotions is creating some filter, so we cannot perceive life clearly. And then
Yeah.
we'll create some patterns, and then
Yeah.
we live life based on those patterns, because I cannot say what I feel, I cannot say what I think. So it's just because of those painful emotions in the body, and they create a specific reality as a filter. Also,
Yeah.
okay, this is the life and there is nothing else out of this. So
Yeah.
this is my perspective of it. Why it's good to feel the emotions. It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
It's painful even to open up. It's scary because
Yeah.
if the other person will not receive, I will feel hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the dynamic where we need to also be aware who can hold my emotions. It's not you need to take care of me. It's not to can you hold that space so I can say what I feel, so I can say what I think. So you just don't need to comment on it. Can you just listen me?
Yeah.
And that's helping to take out this garbage. It's like a garbage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then from there, when if you have the right person around you, then you open a conversation. We can talk about it, not to point finger, not to judge. Just is what it is.
Mm.
Let's have a conversation.
What you're saying is, it makes sense now because we're adults, right? But when you were talking, I'm just reflecting on my culture and my background and how we are raised in our society. And it's always been the good girl syndrome. Be the good girl. We don't laugh too loud. We don't talk too loud. We are not allowed to show certain emotions. We don't even know the names of those emotions. But we were taught we're not supposed to do that. We're girls. Uh, and then there's so much of shame around that growing up, because if we felt those emotions, why are we feeling them? We're not supposed to feel them. How do you put a lid on them? Because you feel them. So that's so much of self rejection and self
Mm,
abandonment in the process, because I can't show that. If I show that, I don't fit in, right? And I want to fit in. And when, especially you're young, you do want to fit in, right? You do want to be liked and accepted and all of that. So that you, when I look back, I don't think so I even realized I was doing it
mm,
so unconsciously, that I will not do this, I will not do that. It never ring a bell that I was abandoning myself. I was not being real. I was not being authentic. I thought this is the way, this is how everybody operates. This is how I need to operate. If I do a certain way, that won't be acceptable. But having said that, I was still rebellious in many ways. So I did show my emotions some ways, but there were still limits to showing those emotions. So now I'm trying to think that if a girl goes through that, what do boys go through? Because boys, especially belonging to a patriarchal culture, I believe, and I can be wrong, but this is my understanding, is as much as I've done reading and I've educated myself on the topic, we teach our boys to boy up, you know.
Mm,
You don't show your emotions, you don't cry, boys don't cry. And then that narrative is then taught to boys in boy groups. Like, girls can have their groups, like where they can say, I'm not allowed to be like this, and you still can like vent. But boys can't do that, because when boys go to boys and say, "Listen, I want to cry," the other boy will say, "Be a boy, we don't cry." So then boys don't have any access, and there is a lot of suppression. And
mm,
I think that is why a lot of boys grow up to be men who are very angry,
mm,
impressive. They're good at heart, but since they didn't learn it, it becomes a tool to survive for them.
mm-hmm,
So then, for me, my question to you, you being the expert in emotions, is how do we bridge the gap? It's so much years of self erosion, right? Years. How do you come to that point where you can? Because it's scary, like you said, and especially for a man, I would feel that's more scary. Uh, but keeping it neutral, it is scary to let go, put the mask down, be vulnerable. How do you learn that then? How do you protect yourself yet learn that then?
is to allow is to allow yourself to, and to willing, if you have the willingness, because if there is no willingness, then you cannot allow to yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
So if the person, let's talk about, because you say about the special men, because men have another way to process their emotions. We women like to talk, and no.
yeah, yeah.
Men have another way to process their emotions, but they
Okay,
also have a need to speak.
okay.
Maybe they don't speak like us, but they have a need to share.
Mm-hmm.
And they also want to be received, instead
Yeah,
of the woman, la 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 la. No, just
yeah,
listen, I feel this way.
yeah,
So when the person is aware that they want to change their life, like,
yeah,
okay, I cannot anymore live in this way I have been taught, and I grow up like it's not working out. As you said, you was a little bit rebel, as I was, and I think the rebels are more not successful, but they allow themselves to be on another level,
yeah,
whatever that level
yeah,
means.
yeah,
So when the person had enough of that crap life and they want to change their life,
yeah,
then there inside is a willingness, like, I want this. I want to go more deep. To go deep, it's scary, because then you have to be able to put in words what you
yeah,
feel, how
yeah,
you feel. So, from my perspective, first and first is that the person needs to be,
yeah,
and then with that comes the next step and the next step and the next step. And expressing what we feel is a huge part of this process,
yeah,
because it's like you put in words that what you feel, instead of just feeling and going in your mind.
mm.
Because you see, we feel emotions and then we ask ourselves, oh, why we feel this way? And the mind starts to
Yes,
come, and the mind starts to come with stories. Oh,
yeah,
because of this, oh, because of that, oh, because of I don't know what. And the mind is creating a lot of stories.
yeah,
But in this process, sometimes when we say, okay, I want to change my life, there are often moments when we feel sad, we feel sorrow, we feel grief. And we ask ourselves why, and the mind will come with story, but it's not necessary to know why. What about just also sit with
Mm,
that and
yeah,
feel? That's also a part of the process where we can stay with ourselves to acknowledge what we feel.
right.
If you feel the need to share with your partner or somebody close to you, yes, do that so you feel. But also it's important to feel yourself and to let it out. The example, if it's grief and you feel pain of grief, sit there. And if it's required to cry, so cry. Is nothing shameful about.
Yeah,
But this is allow you to kind of, those emotions moves through when finally we start to acknowledge.
yeah,
And the body says, oh, or the emotions in the body say, oh, I'm being acknowledged. Oh, they let me to be seen and felt. Oh, thank you very much. And then once you go to this, it's moving out from your system.
yeah,
So it's a part of very important to feel. Sometimes
mm,
will not make sense. The brain will come with stories.
yeah,
But also a part of it is to talk. If it's a relation with a person, if I have a relationship and there is something, then it's good to put it out on the table instead of staying in your head and rolling, because
yeah,
then it's building the emotions
yeah,
instead of try to make it to roll it in your head. It's better when you feel something, then I think, oh, okay, my darling, this when you say that I feel this way, why not, I feel hurt when you say that, whatever there is,
yeah,
without just say I feel this way.
yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Two things are coming up for you when you said all that, when you said feel your emotions, feel, right? There's also this thing, what you society teaches you, right? Is or culture teaches you, or surrounding teaches you, is you can feel certain emotions in certain environments, right? And for me, what was coming up was when my daughter passed away, right? And we just done come back from the burial, and we were sitting and eating, and somebody cracked a joke on the table, right? And I lost myself, so I started laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing because it was really funny. And somebody nudged me and said, "Stop! You just lost your daughter, and you're laughing like that. People are going to talk." And I looked, and I was like, "So." I can't have one moment where I can just laugh. I've been crying for 6 days. I've been crying all day. So if people want to judge me, or I have to carry myself a certain way so people can see I'm grieving, I don't care. I know what I've lost. I know what's happening inside of me. So no, I'm not going to stop laughing if it's funny. So if they want to judge me, it's up to them, right? And the other thing that comes up for me is we have so many emotions, we feel so many things. Isn't it about more about being aligned by being connected with what you're feeling than always having the need to express? Because not everything needs to be expressed, it just
Exactly.
needs to be felt so it can flow through you, right?
Yes.
So, because for me, what's coming up is I know people will take this, okay, I learned how to feel, so I'm just going to, if I'm feeling angry, if I'm going to break something, I'll just do that and stuff. I think it's more about having the vocabulary to understand our emotions, and our emotions not controlling us, but we controlling the emotion in a way where we are not saying, like you said, I'm not going to feel this, blah, 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 going in the head. But okay, right now, when she's talking, I'm aware that a lot of discomfort is coming in me, for example, right? I don't need to say that to her, but can I hold it for me within me so it can move through me? Do you,
Mm.
am I making sense?
Yes.
Yeah?
Totally. Totally. Because yes,
Mm.
sometimes we don't need to speak. It's just something about us personally and me with me, myself, and I.
Yeah, yeah,
But I feel like going back to what you say, your experience about losing your daughter, and you said totally cracking and laughing. And I was like, yeah, but you know what? That's also a part of your emotional release.
yes, yes.
Yes, it is. And,
Mm.
to the human mind, we think like, oh, if I'm sad, I need to cry. Or
Yeah.
if, what about you are grieving, loving? I
Mm.
tell you an example that my father also have died a couple of years ago, and of course I felt the loss. But 3 days after, I was I was experiencing such a uncontained joy,
Yeah.
and I was dancing, and I put it online. I was doing this, and again, my family say, "How dare you dance? Your father just died."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I feel this. I will honor this. And I
Yeah.
don't need to give explanation to nothing, because what I feel, I feel.
Yeah.
And what I feel, I don't need to give explanation to anyone, because it's what I
Yeah.
feel. And how we process the emotions don't need to make sense.
Yeah. They don't. Yeah.
We
And
don't
and
need
that's
to,
so
yeah.
sad that people don't understand that they don't need to make sense. I lost my husband, right? 3 years ago, and I was separated, and it wasn't a good marriage. So everybody knew that no, I didn't like talking about him in my house or in my environment because I was so hurt, right?
Mm,
So when he suddenly passed away, it was a shocker, right? He was young, you didn't expect that. So I cried so much. I would cry so much. I couldn't stop crying. And it's funny, even my own daughter was like, why are you crying? Why are you
mm,
crying for the person who was a monster in your life? And I clearly remember I was sitting on my bed. I had a box of tissue and I was crying. I couldn't stop. I was crying hysterically, and my daughter comes to me. We used to sleep together. And she said, Mama, why are you crying? You miss Baba. And I said, yeah, I miss him. And she goes, but why? Why are you crying so much?
mm,
You know? And I don't understand. And I said, even I don't understand. But I can't stop crying. I can't tell myself, don't cry. I want to grieve. So I am going to grieve. And it was so hard for me. It was so hard for me because nobody said it, but there was this undeniable energy around me that, what is she grieving for? She left.
mm,
She left this person, she didn't like this person, XYZ, whatever the narrative was, which was true, absolutely true. But I couldn't deny that I needed to cry. And and obviously I didn't think that anybody, I didn't hold anybody in regard that I needed to give them that explanation. But for me, I did question that why am I crying? Like, what's going on? Because it wasn't something I was planning, but just happening and happening. And it went on. It went on for 3 months, right? And it was grief for my kids. They've lost their father. It was grief for the years I gave to that man. It was grief for the closure I would never have. There was so much grief in that. It was grief for the pain I endured in that marriage. It wasn't just grief of losing him. It was so many things.
mm.
And I never gave anybody an answer. I just thought there's no point because they'll take out something and throw it back. But I had to understand for myself
Yes.
because obviously it was hard. Why? I also asked myself, why am I crying so much? But it is what it is, right?
Yes, it is. And you see, again, you don't try to make sense of it. But what
Yeah,
about what about the losing of your husband have actually was the catalyst of kind of activating all the pain in your body. And then because he lost everything, that pain, that loss, but all at once has been activated to feel it, to cry it, to cry it. So it was, you see, it's not that when somebody dies or we lose, is we we feel the emotion because of that person. Our emotional system is built so intelligent that this will never get it. We just need to let it be and feel and go with what's the experience.
yeah,
Because most of the time, when we as a people are so connected, we are like having soul contracts, I call it. We are connected somehow.
yeah,
So what about him passing away actually has been activating in your emotional system? Maybe even the loss, the grief of your childhood that your mind cannot process, but it's come as a pain to the surface.
Mm.
So it's like all your grief has been, all the pain has activated whatever was necessary at that moment to come to the surface. And then you cry for 3 months and even you don't know why, but it was the body's necessary to
Yeah.
move that. So often we will not totally get it, but we must honor this.
Yeah.
It is. This is what I feel. I must go with it and don't need to try to understand it. I know there will be a moment when this will pass. It's just what it is right now.
Yeah.
If people not get it, fair enough. I, it's my journey.
Yeah.
So that's also can be like, even though that person makes so much hurt in your life, let's say, it's always something and for a reason. It's
Yeah.
not just because I see it from the other perspective that if when people we feel as a hurt, there is something that in us can be worked out with.
Yeah.
So he
Okay.
was just a catalyst, or his leaving this world was a catalyst for your own internal system.
Okay. Mm.
So
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
that's how I'm.
Yeah, I mean it resonates with me. It does resonate with me. And I'm just thinking that now we live in a culture, in a society, and it's global, I believe. So is the fact that, sorry, I have a runny nose, is the fact that, you know, it's not anymore boys don't cry. It's no one cries. We don't cry. Don't
Mm,
cry. Don't cry. It makes you weak. Don't cry. It makes you like this. And I'm saying that because my daughter, she doesn't cry. You should probably
mm,
cry at home. And I was like, it's okay. If you had a moment in school, why didn't you cry? Okay, you didn't want to cry in front of your friends because you were embarrassed. That's her answer. So why didn't you go in the bathroom, lock the door, cry, wash your face, come back? But the pressure that no, we can't cry anymore. And, I mean, I just feel it's so much of pressure for the younger kids. And then why? Where is this stemming from?
mm,
Where is the gap? What did we do that now kids feel that if they cry, regardless of their gender, it's weakness, it's exposing yourself, it's embarrassing yourself.
mm-hmm. It can be a society mentality culture way,
Okay.
because we need to be strong. We need to be
Yeah.
strong. We need to be strong. You know, it's really coming also from generational, from past.
That's a generational trauma, definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just like we need to fit in a world and we cannot be weak,
Yeah.
because mentally somehow society get it. If you are too emotionally, if you are crying quite often for such a small thing or whatever, you are weak, like
Yeah.
you will be very fast hit in life. But
Yeah.
depends how you use this. Also you need to straighten your emotions, and when you cry because you are weak, or when you cry because there is something to be seen, because
Yeah.
you see is
You
also
need to
the.
regulate yourself, right? Sometimes you
Exactly.
need the regulation. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to fit in this society. Otherwise, we are
Yeah.
being laughed at.
Yeah.
And especially men, because almost everywhere, men must be the head of the home
Yeah.
and they need to be strong and always be there.
Tough and together and sorted. Yeah.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
nothing can break him down.
God forbid if they feel they're not a man. If they feel how are they going to take care of us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's so wrong,
Yeah.
because we are built to have the both sides, the feminine and the masculine. And globally, the whole collective actually is mostly drive on the masculine energy. Even women.
Yes, I
We look
agree.
in the world, women are so masculine
Masculine. Yep. Yep.
because that's how it's built. This. to be in line.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we are in a point where we cannot anymore go on that masculine side because it will become so hard and hard and hard.
Yeah.
And it will start to feel really not uncomfortable. So even men must allow themselves to get in touch with their feminine side, which
Yeah.
is the emotions,
Yeah.
which is the being present around
Yeah.
a woman, not try to think and calculate and sneak and make strategies. Just be present,
Yeah.
feel what you feel.
Yeah.
And in that way, you or we, even for women, we will be aware what's going on inside ourselves by being present in a conversation with someone else, because
Mm.
something it will rise. And
Yeah.
that's what it is, instead of being in the head and try to find ways, oh, how to look more nice, or how to impress someone, or how to be this.
Performance, being performing all the time, right?
Yes,
It's kind of
exactly.
performance. uh, uh, you said it so beautifully, the masculine and the feminine, right? and and being a single mom, I think for the longest time I was more in my masculine, right? Till it hit me that I can't do that. This is not me. It's too heavy. It's not working for me. And I had to connect with my feminine side. And it was very hard for me because being feminine was being soft, right? Being
Mm.
feminine was being delicate. Being feminine was showing your weakness, showing you can cry. And for me that was like, I can't do that. I have kids in this society. Being a woman, if I do that, I won't be safe, you know. So I had to find my balance with the yin and yang. Was when I'm out working and hustling and doing that. If the masculine is activated, it serves me, right? But once I come back, when I'm with my friends or when I'm home in my space, I can let it go and activate my feminine. So for me, what worked was finding my balance,
Mm.
right? And then also kind of becoming more aware of how society works and how I need to protect myself. And in gatherings where I could feel safe enough to be soft and vulnerable and whatever, however a woman needs to be. And then when I'm out in the world where I feel exposed, where I need to protect myself, the masculine mask would come up. Okay, I'm rigid, I'm strong, don't mess with me, you're gonna get that. So that's been something that I would say I've learned over a year or year and a half, to understand where I need to balance and how I need to balance. And I think that's what you're saying when you're saying for men not to become so rigid in their masculinity, because if they're disconnected with their emotions, they won't be able to feel. If they're not able to feel, how will they connect with a woman? Because woman needs that emotional language. So it's for them to finding their balance as well.
Exact. Equally as the woman, we also need to find our balance,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be soft,
yeah,
but you also need to know when to be soft and with who.
yeah. The art.
Because, yeah, because when you open up to someone who you can feel it, and then you feel hurt, like
Yeah,
you hurt yourself by
yeah,
opening one to someone that was not there to
yeah,
get you, to hold you, to. It's not like he needs to tell you to do what. No, just be there and can you hold, I just want to open up. So it's equally for women, it's equally for men,
yeah,
when to play the feminine and masculine.
yeah,
Especially in your case, you have to be more masculine when you are outside in society. You need to work, you need to drive, you need to make money, you need to pay the bills. It's a masculine force.
yes,
But
absolutely.
also when you come home, you need to receive, you need to be gentle, you need to be soft, you
Yeah,
need to be present also in the masculine. But the woman, the feminine is more, she's more receiving and is more soft and vulnerable and knows this, like,
yeah.
and
I
and,
like
and yeah, is
that.
that side, is
Yeah.
that side. And it's really like a game, like, like flow up, down, where I needed what.
Yeah.
But also it's very important
Yeah.
when, especially because you say about this feminine, I felt something to talk about boundaries and when to put the boundaries, because that's also protection for
Yeah.
your energy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I really feel that also is very
Yeah.
important when we know ourselves, is like to know when to put boundaries to protect,
Mm.
right? You know, so
Mm.
it's like a trampoline hop. Oh, there I am in masculine energy. Here I am in feminine energy. There is a place where you was thinking you need your masculine, but actually, what about if you relax more and you'll be on feminine? Actually, the things will move and will work actually much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it's really to sense, to feel, and to navigate through that specific environment, place, whatever you experience and where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it sounds very easy right now, but I know when we live in the society, we're constantly being told and we're always scanning for how we need to show up, right? Right now, we're in our space, you're in your space, I'm in my space. It's easier to open and talk. And I know once we go out, we don't even know how the plugs go on and the masks comes up where like we can't be like this and we don't even know we're being performative. It's so well wired in our systems, right? And that's a whole other topic. But right now what's coming up for me was to ask you is talk to the men in here or just educate me for when you said uh let's talk more in detail about how can a man balance his yin and yang or his feminine and his masculine? How would that look like?
He, yeah, it's like it's require presence. It's require him to be in his own presence
Uh,
and to be aware, because then he will know how to balance all that.
yeah,
The example, there are men that they are so much in feminine in general in the world, like the woman becomes so masculine and the men become so,
yeah, yeah,
but in
yeah,
a toxic way.
yeah.
It's so toxic.
It is. Yeah,
So what about being aware of your own, state, and what I feel, how I want to feel, you
yeah,
know talking about this mask as well, like, can we be authentic wherever we are? Yes, if we fully know ourselves
mm,
and be present with ourselves, not with, but be aware of yourself. And then from that space, you can be fully authentic wherever you are with no masks. But it
mm,
requires, of course, a lot of work.
yeah,
So go back there with the men to balance themselves. They need to be aware what they play, where they play. So again, self-acknowledge. It's a individual work.
yeah,
They have to willing, they have to put the work. It's not
yeah,
something to read a book or to go to the therapy one a while. It's also to get engaged with their own self, observe their thoughts, observe their feelings. And when they need to ask themselves, oh, wait a little bit, I got this thought or I feel this way. And then, go with it. Try to discover or rediscover ourselves
mm,
by being present with ourselves.
mm,
Because once we be present here, we know how to feel.
yeah,
And based on knowing how to feel, then wherever we are, we will be exactly that authentic. Because this is me and I feel this. And yes, there are triggers. It's
yeah,
normal. But
yeah,
that's also working for us. And then
yeah,
something is triggered outside. Okay, work within. Why? Why? What is inside me that I'm like,
yeah,
then it's my own work to do. So it's going back to a self acknowledgement, self work with yourself. It's all
Mm.
about the self and the willingness to do that. It's a journey, and it's required to put the work. It's not a listening a podcast or reading a book. We get a lot of information, and
Yeah.
what we resonate with, what not, is up to individuals to take in. But in the end of the day, is you with you, and no one else can come there when it's you and you,
Mm.
because nobody knows you better than yourself.
Yeah.
And we get help, thanks God. We have a lot
Yeah.
of information,
Yeah.
but then it's like wanting and willing and get curious to
Mm.
know who I am,
Yeah.
what I feel, how I want to feel, why I feel this trigger when I am around this, why I feel anxious when I'm here, what's there
Mm.
inside me that it's make me to feel this way. And once we start to actually to put this feet there and take those steps and do inner work, then we get more in touch with ourselves, and then we know how to balance it.
Interesting. You know what's coming up for me? I was just thinking that when I was talking about myself, right? So for me, when I go out in the world, to be masculine, to do all that, that's necessary, right?
Mm.
And when I come home, it's my space, it's safe. To be the soft, to be my feminine, it's easy, right? And now I'm thinking from a man's perspective, when he goes out, easy for him to be the same, be masculine, hustle, work, get things done. But when he comes home now, he has his family, he has his kids. How does he balance it then? Because he still is in his home environment demanded to show up a certain way, being the father figure, being the one who runs the family, right? So he's expected to show a certain way. So then, where and how can he be allowed to feel when there is so much of pressure in how he has to show up in certain roles?
Mm. Mm.
But
So,
so for a woman, she can come home and say, or when even her husband comes home, let's say a typical environment. The man comes home, the woman is emotional. She had a rough day, she cries. He validates her, says, I'm sorry, you went through that. Now she can be in her softness, she feels safe with her man, right? That's done. But then, where is that space and holding for a man?
yes, look, what comes to me is that when a man is outside, he's normally being his masculine. When he's coming home,
Yeah.
it's okay to has I feel like this softness must to come to the surface. It's still
Mm.
in his masculine, but is in a softer way where it's required to be home. Don't need to hold it strong, It's
Yeah.
okay to show what you feel, even though you are in masculine. It's okay to speak what is there. It's like not that totally need to flip it, but to, dance with it.
Okay.
It's like a dance. Because while you was talking or saying to me, I was really feeling in an, if we speak to the energy level, we are built so different. And some men
Mm.
are feminine in the world, but when they are coming home, they are masculine.
Oh,
Some,
really?
yeah, energetically
Okay.
speaking.
Okay.
Some women, they can be masculine home, but they are feminine outside. So you see, sometimes it can twist, but as a couple,
Okay.
it's okay. It's not necessary that the man always needs to be masculine and the woman needs to be feminine wherever they go, because we have both. But
Yeah.
it's really know how to dance with it, because sometimes a man need also the feminine on one way level to kind of be that shoulder. It's not that the man is weak, but
Yeah.
we are equal.
Yeah.
We are weak equal. So why to say that the woman cannot hold a shoulder for a man? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
When when there is really a willingness for couple to work together and to navigate through all these challenges and self-discovery. It's okay to women also to be not a rigid masculine, but to be more strong. Not
You
that
know
the
what was
man is
coming up?
weak, but
Yeah,
is that it requires sometimes to dance.
yeah, yeah. I mean, when you said, why can't the woman, give her shoulder, I laughed because what came to my mind was I was sitting with a bunch of women, right? And we were talking, I don't know what, but one thing that came up, and I said, I think I would be okay for a man to show me his emotions. I can't connect with a man if he can't show his emotions. So if he can't cry, or if he's, closed off, it doesn't work for me. I feel like I'm talking to a robot, right? And then I further said that I would be okay if even he cried. He came home and he wanted to cry. He had a bad day. He broke down and he cried. I would not think of him as a lesser man in any capacity. I would
It's
just look at him as a human, right?
yes,
And they all started laughing. They're like, please, we don't want our husbands to come home and cry. Like, no, they're not supposed to cry, and they need to have their stuff together. And I was just looking at these, and this was like all the women saying that, no, no, he's a sissy, he's this, he's that, no, I don't want. So I was laughing because I really think that we're so deeply wired, whether we like it or we don't like it, to not have that comfort of a man crying. It's uncomfortable for a woman. Don't cry. You get away. You're not a man if you cry. So that discomfort is more for a woman to sit with, that why do I feel that feeling when a man cries in front of me? Or why, if my husband was to cry in front of me, I would think him, I would look at him as less of a man.
mm,
Uh, so that's why I'm having this conversation, is trying to bridge that gap where we can understand men more as well while we're trying to understand ourselves. Uh, I'm really trying to hold as much space for men because men are not allowed to show their emotions. They can't feel their emotions. They're closed off. They don't have these men support groups where they support them um, in expressing their emotions. So for where you and I can speak, and I can say, oh, I can go outside and hustle and come and put that thing down and act as a soft feminine, right? We can also learn that it's okay for men to want to do that, to come home and say, we're tired, or I've had a bad day and I feel like crying, it was so horrible, and not feeling judged for
yes,
that.
that's very important because we feel when somebody judges, and because we
Yeah,
feel, and when we know that somebody will judge us, we close
shut
down.
down. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, it's like really is nothing a weakness when a man release some tears. It's not,
Yeah,
see, it's also he's getting in touch with his own femininity. It's
yeah,
okay to let the tears fall, you know.
mm,
So it's okay also for women to be there and with no any judgment, or say, I'm here. Whatever you go through,
absolutely.
you go through, but I am here.
Yeah,
Just don't
yeah,
need to say too much. Don't need to ask, because let people, person, the man, to be in his own stuff. If he needs
yeah,
help, something he will ask. If he needs
yes,
something, he will tell you. You can ask. If you need something, I'm here. And then,
absolutely.
but just be there. Say, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah,
Release, but I'm here. It's okay. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to let it out.
yeah,
So it's.
absolutely.
I think this is coming from how we have been taught.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the same here in where I come from, like, oh, the boys don't cry, like, what are you talking about, and that's why even my brother have this, like, I don't show emotions, and now he realized, like, oh, I need to learn how to love.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So do you see what's mean when we are not open up?
Yeah.
We don't know how to really love, because we love to the surface level, how we
Mm,
look, how
mm,
much money we have, how we can combine our lives so we can survive.
yeah.
Where is love? What is
Mm,
love in all there? It's
yeah.
just this external look.
Structure and functional thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a facade, and let's look nice in the world. But love, we want love, no? No, that's what we
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. Yeah. I could agree more. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we will wrap this up. Thank you so much for coming forward and really educating us on emotions and why they're so important to feel them. Uh, Before we close it off, how can people connect with you? Do you offer any programs? Do you have an Instagram page? Little bit information for the audience.
Yeah, I have Instagram page Juliana McLean, which is this one, and also Facebook McLean Juliana. I have also on a page, so I can be found. My services are not there online. I'm still, making, behind the scene. I'm doing and doing, and then I will be more there and
Okay.
can be found. But otherwise, I am there contacting. I also have a podcast, Hardy Talks with Gentle Talks, where I'm talking about my own experience and what my journey was and where I was and where I am. And so it's all about consciousness, next level of living life and feeling and allowing and being okay with whatever experience there, not to be judged, but to be felt.
Yeah.
So I'm there. It's just a click.
Gotcha. Thank you. That simple is it, just a click. I'm so happy. I learned so much today, so I'm grateful to you for that. And I hope to see you sometime soon again on my live stream.
Yeah, I love it. I love our conversation and I really like it. So of course I would like to enjoy it more often. Yeah.
Yeah. All righty.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. You have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.